Hello friends, today we are looking at Jim Starlin's early fanzine art, going from 1969 roughly to 1972. Now we all know Jim Starlin from his awesome work with the Infinity Gauntlet, which is currently being used in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, he also worked on an awesome story arc back in the 1970s where he first started and actually created Thanos and the Death Cosmic Entity. But before he went pro over at Marvel Comics, he actually worked on some fanzines, roughly from 1967 to 1972. One of which we're going to talk about today is Star-Studded 16 1969, which is a fantastic amateur magazine containing very early work by Jim Starlin. It really is a wonderful lens into some very creative comic magazine work of the late 1960s Silver Age. Also, anything with Jim Starlin is fantastic. Now, Jim Starlin was penciling art for Howard Keltner's Star-Studded comics as early as 1967. Here is Jim Starlin's short story about post-apocalyptic Armageddon in issue 16. The story is about a human being who is so distraught about his planet being taken over by lizard-like aliens that he hits a DoomsDay button and blows up the whole place. It's early and rough form of his art, but shows an unbridled imagination just beginning to discover his talent. Something I find interesting about this 1969 ending is that the 1970 sequel to another post-apocalyptic story, Planet of the Apes, has the same exact ending, with Charlton Heston's character, Taylor, activating the Doomsday bomb, destroying himself and the planet Earth. As this grisly switch goes off, the image whites out with the narrator declaring, "In one of the countless billions of galaxies in the universe lies a medium-sized star, and one of its satellites, a green and insignificant planet, is now dead." Gotta love it. They were kind of depressed in the early 70s, it looks like. Jim Starlin would develop his craft in the early 1970s even further with Dr. Weird, Howard Keltner's creation, and bring that magic to Marvel. As far as Jim Starlin's growth as an artist, in issue 18 of Star-Studded in 1972, he made a beautiful Dr. Weird story called The Miracle, with the character's creator, Howard Keltner. Now this particular issue is very special because we have Dr. Weird, who aesthetically looks like the later Drax the Destroyer, and then we also have him combating the cosmic entity Death, which is a concept that Jim Starlin would bring in his Marvel work. In the 3 years from the above short story in 1969 to this one in 1972, one can see how sleek and cosmic his art had now become. What a difference a few years makes. This shows an incredible growth in the amateur circuit, after which he was ready to unleash his skill onto his professional work at Marvel, bringing some of these concepts from this fanzine that he worked on in 1972 into his Marvel work of the same year and following in 1973. Learn more about Jim Starlin, his recurring concepts of Warriors of Life versus the cosmic entities of death, and our Jim Starlin death episode. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button. We got more to say in other videos. Also check out our podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. We also have constant updates on Twitter and Instagram, or continue the conversation in our Facebook group. Cheers.